you prefer my donor's kidney. And then we just exchange our donors in a circle and everyone is better off. Each patient donor pair can just be caught in one cycle, and therefore no cycle will intersect, and we can just exchange our donors and everyone is happy. With a chain, that's a little bit different. So a W chain means that everyone prefers the kidney of his neighbor, for example. And if you look at the graph here on the right, you see everyone prefers the next neighbor's kidney. The crucial part here now is that each patient-donor pair can be now part in several W chains. And if we have more than one chain, we need to select them somehow, because the chain we select, those transplants will be acted out. So we really have like some problems, because we cannot give any kidney to two patients, as I mentioned earlier. And the selection rule could be, for example, to choose the shortest chain with just maybe one donor patient pair, or the longest chain, or something completely else. Important is that this selection rule has some efficiency implications. So depending on what kind of rule I choose, this algorithm is efficient, which means it would select a Pareto efficient allocation, which we really want, because we want to improve everybody. So it's really important that we select an appropriate chain selection rule. Also, you can use this rule for some policy objectives. So, for example, if you want to increase the supply of blood type 0 living donor kidneys to the waiting list, then you have to choose an appropriate algorithm for that. So maybe that they get preferred somehow. And so these chains and those cycles, as I told earlier, they are improving welfare, or at least that was the thought of the authors, that they wanted to show that directly, and therefore did some simulations. They created a random sample of n patient donor pairs based on some population characteristics. This table on the right side here is just like one part of it. For example, they had the data about how often are certain blood types, how many male, female patients are there, and they just used non-relative data. So no family members are included in those simulations. And with those data, then they created people, basically, and they created people and then acted out this whole mechanism and compared it then to the other mechanisms. For example, no exchange, or this paired and indirect exchange. And as we see here, for the population size of 100, this has improved the amount of transplants substantially. And here, this is a measure for the quality, and the low number is actually good. So from indirect to paired exchange, the quality improved as well, as I mentioned earlier. If you look here, we see the waiting list additions, but maybe I will skip that part due to the time, because I want to mention this part here. Here we have the length of the cycles and the chains, and we see that this increases if we come from the paired and indirect exchange to this top trading cycle and chain algorithm. So the length is now 15 patient donor pairs, for example, or a chain of 11 patient donor pairs. And this number increases over population sizes. So here we have 10, here 17, and here 22. That's basically the algorithm. Here I summarized the results again. What I now want to mention at the end, because that's the theory. We have like a nice algorithm now who explains, who could improve everything. But if we look now at the practice, we see that these increase in chains and cycles, which actually improves efficiency, means that all those transplants need to be acted simultaneously at the same time. Otherwise, people could drop out, and this is maybe not feasible with a lot of patient donor pairs. And also, maybe the trust in this mechanism could be not that high if we have a lot of patient donor pairs in the system, and if I don't trust it, I won't even participate, and then this efficiency gains will drop out. And then those are just some things I mentioned earlier. So there isn't this registry about the living donations so far, and we would need to implement that to actually apply this algorithm. So in the future we may overcome all these difficulties, but not until now, but still I think it's a nice mechanism we can rely to and have a think about what we should maybe do to apply it. So thank you all for your attention, and if there are any questions, you're welcome to ask me.
Okay. Thank you.
I see the table you
This one?
I don't understand what's the meaning of the increase in change. Like, how do you compare that?
You mean from between those, or like here in one?
I mean, when you have like a population of 100 people,
Yeah.
you have.
So if I am a population of 100 people, then if I just use this paired and indirect exchange, I mentioned at the beginning, then by definition there are just like 2 patient-donor pairs involved. So just me and my donor, and you and your donor. But if I now apply their algorithm, this top trading cycle and chain algorithm, I increase that and say, okay, now 5 patient-donor pairs, or in this case, 17 patient-donor pairs can be interacted, and those lengths are found by the preferences of the people. So it's not that I like say I just allow for 17, for example. It's just how it like evolves during this mechanism.
Okay, thank you very much.